You two are wonderful. Tell me about the Gospel according to Kinison. It started out as a play, right? You had the play.
Yeah.
So where did the idea come from to do that play? It was amazing, by the way.
I got my war clothes on. I got my war clothes on. I got my war clothes on. 'Cause I'm a soldier. If I die, let me die. If I die, let me die. If I die, let me die. I'm a soldier.
That was one of the very first songs my brothers and I learned when we were just little boys. My mother used to make us practice singing every day. I hated it then, but now I treasure those memories.
I'm getting old. I'm college educated. But I haven't forgot my roots and the Pentecostal upbringing that I was raised in. And for that, I don't apologize. That's just the way we were raised. I remember the women in our church used to wear their dresses up to the neck, down to the floor, and down to the wrists. They used to always put their hair in a bun. The men wore what were called white walls. That's where they would shave around their ears because their hair couldn't touch their ears. I think another reason we called them white walls is, well, there wasn't many black people came to our church.
We were raised what people call Pentecostal. Now, people had other names for us, such as holy rollers, tongue talkers, shouters, healers, etc. The staples of our belief was hell, which anyone that didn't believe like us was going to. Heaven, which very few people, including few of us, were going to. The physical return of Jesus, which we would try to live a holy life, which was almost impossible until Jesus came in the sky and rescued us out of this world. We also believed in the gifts of the Spirit, which included healing, casting out demons, prophecy, and the word of knowledge. The word of knowledge was picking someone out of the audience and telling them things that you had no way of knowing about them. You see, we were an emotional people in everything we did in church services. On the social ladder of Christianity, you had Catholics, Episcopalians, Presbyterians, Lutherans. At the bottom of the ladder, you had Pentecostals. Tonight, you're going to hear the gospel according to Kinison. You're going to hear the story of my preaching family, and I'm going to show you the inner workings of the ministry. Let us begin the story of the gospel according to Kinison.
Oh, the Lord. Oh, yes,
You want to tell them, church? You were the one that,
Well, I went to see a play in LA and I came home and I
well,
said,
John Lithgow.
yeah, it was John Lithgow's one-man show. And oh, it was, I mean, I don't like to bash anybody, but anyway, I went home and I said, Bill, I just watched a one-man, don't even tell me we don't have stories, because he was, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And I said, you've got a one-man show. After sitting there and watching what I watched, oh yes, you've got a one-man show. And so I said, start writing. And he did.
So we wrote it and did it, got rave reviews.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was very, very happy with it.
I mean, a lot
But
of
it was just a one-man play. Except we did have a choir and musicians and stuff.
but a lot of the people that, we used in the theater for years did not know a lot of the stories. I mean, they were intrigued with, wow, but we didn't try to preach to them because we didn't want to go in saying, oh, well, we're preachers and blah, blah, blah. So no, that part of our life, we never exposed it. So it was very good. And it was just well done and well received.
Yeah, it was great. Now, what about Sam Kinison's life? Was there ever like any kind of documentary?
Oh, I've produced 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Just did one on Vice. Is it Vice or Paramount?
Well, I don't remember. I mean, you did it for one,
But-
but then I think they got bought out by another before it
Yeah, I
got
think
produced.
Vice did it, and then Paramount bought Vice, and Sam was the last thing that they did. And then they've been airing.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people call us and say, oh my gosh, we just watched it. So they've been.
And it's
airing
really
it.
kind of a series. It's called The Dark Side of Comedy. And this particular episode was Sam, but they're planning on doing Richard Pryor and Rodney
Yeah, they're doing a
Dangerfield
lot of different
and
comedians.
kind of like that. But the other three I have produced myself.
Nice.
People are intrigued with that part of Sam's life that they didn't know, and
Right.
where the scream came from and all of that. So
Yeah.
yes.
And Sam's first love,
What?
you.
Oh,
Oh, he had a crush on you
Oh,
big time?
he
We were-
blamed me. He blamed me until he died.
but we were like brother and sister, and
Aw.
I'd say, you know what? You're like my brother. So there was never anything, but he really, he respected me, and because I knew our life growing up, and I think that's, they looked at me as like, they had 4 boys in their family, and their mom always called me her daughter.
Oh,
So,
you were family even before the two of you got married. You
Oh
were,
yeah,
you were
yeah.
family.
our two families.
Yep.
Her parents and my parents were best friends,
Yeah.
and we spent, as far as I can remember, we spent every Christmas or Thanksgiving
together.
together, the two families.
Well, there was never any fighting and arguing, and it was fun. It was just a lot of laughter. And my brother Ron, who was killed in 2000 by
Oh,
a semi truck,
sorry.
him and Sam were best friends. And there's stories with the two of them. It's
I don't think we can tell those on here.
no, I know, but I mean, that's just the way it was.
Right, right. Oh. So do you have like any video clips or pictures that were never released before that you plan on like showing or anything like that?
We've got a lot of family stuff, but we've never released. I don't know. Maybe
It
one of
depends.
these days.
It really depends on the project.
Right.
What footage you would use or whatever.
Is there any footage of when he would do the prop comedy?
I don't know. That would be from Houston.
The what?
The prop comedy.
That Sam did?
We had pictures.
I
Back
don't
then,
think they videoed
we didn't do
much then.
videos back in those days.
Right,
Now, you're
right.
talking back in '70s.
You're right. Absolutely.
And we just didn't. We don't have any. We got video. I mean, we got
Pictures.
cassettes of Sam preaching, a bunch of those, but we don't have any videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame. I mean, we don't have videos of a lot of things, with their families and stuff, but you just didn't do that back then.
No, no.
You
it's
didn't
true.
even have these until the '90s.
That's right. That's true.
It's
You're
so
talking back in the
nice.
'70s.
I know. I said we'd have been in trouble though.
That's right.
God, we didn't have them.
Well,
Believe me, if they'd even had TMZ when Sam was going, we'd have been.
would have been all over.
Oh yeah, there wasn't too many stories made up. He pretty much lived up to all of them.
Well, what was that like for the two of you, seeing him partying all the time? I mean, how did you handle that? Did you try to get him to stop did you use tough love? What did you do when you saw him
Well,
going?
you try everything.
You
but,
try
The
everything.
bottom line is, when I went to rehab for him, I took a drug hit for him. I did 5 months in a rehab,
Yeah, it was very frustrating.
and I didn't even drink. And
Nope.
but I did learn a lot, in there. And and they were telling me how I'm a codependent and stuff, and I go, that's my job. Not only is it my brother, that's also my job.
Yeah.
Is to take care of him. And but when I got through that, then Sam and I met, and we had a whole new set of understandings from that point on. And then he did clean up the last year and a half of his life.
I mean, what, he never smoked pot until he was what, 25 or?
He never had a drink till he was
Never had
25.
a drink, never, we just didn't do that. Well, the first time I heard him say the F word was like, we
You
weren't
saw-
raised like that. I mean, it was really, I mean,
Yeah.
his whole career was a pinch me moment.
Let's have a nice warm reception for Sam Kinison. Okay, here we are, Sammy. All right, babe, here you are. Baby, I love you, I love you.
Well, I'm sorry I'm late. I was supposed to be here a little earlier, but I spent the last 2 hours at a 7-Eleven going, Marlboro! Marlboro! Cigarettes! Smoky, smoky! You don't even speak English. How the fuck did you get this job? I should have shot your ass in Da Nang when I had the chance!
And I don't know, I still have to pinch myself and think, wow, here we are, two poor preacher's kids. And, you know, we were very, very blessed in our life, but
Well, it was difficult.
yes, it was.
You know, the darker side of it is I always thought that I would come into a motel room and he'd be on the floor. You know, I never ever thought, he was going to die in a car wreck.
Right.
In front of
And
you.
and he just had no restraint. He lived for the moment, and he really did. And he did that consciously. And he always told us, I'll never see 40.
Yeah, you
And he
did.
died at 38.
Wow.
And I think the events of the weeks before that, I think that he knew something was going to happen to him. Even to that day, we stopped. We're 20 miles from Laughlin, and he stopped and we got gas because he decided not to fly. He was supposed to. I had a charter set for him, and he decided he's going to fly. And we're 20 miles from Laughlin, and all of a sudden he wants all the stuff out of his car and put into this van that I had rented because I was going to come home after the show on Sunday. And I thought, and I even asked him, I said, what are you doing? We're 20 miles. I want everything out of the car. Take the dog too. And so he did, and we went 3 miles and he was hit head on. But I think he definitely, I don't know if he knew he was going to die, but he definitely knew that something was going to happen.
Your mother plainly told him he was going to die the week before.
Did what?
My mother was not a fan of Malika's. And AD had died, I think 2 years before that.
Mhm.
And our last show on that particular run was going to be in New Orleans. And I don't know why that we decided to have her to fly down there, because I realized that it's useless to do that, because we're going to be leaving the next morning to fly back to LA. And anyhow, so I tried to call her at the airport. She wouldn't answer. And so walked into New Orleans, and there she is in the lobby. And so I told her, I said, I tried to call you and tell you not to come. She said, I know you was trying to tell me not to come, but I wanted to come. So I said, all right, well, after the show's over, we go back and we're going up this big glass elevator in the Hyatt there in New Orleans. And Sam is tired and he's leaning up against the side of the elevator. Now, he and I had almost got into fistfights over me telling him, you need to get some life insurance. If you're going to get married, because he's living off everything he had. And it did get out of control. My mother comes and she looks at him and said, well, I'm going to tell you why I'm here. And I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. And she said, AD, which was our stepdad, her husband, he came to me in a dream this past week and said to tell you to get your business in order, you're going to die. And so I'm expecting this explosion in the elevator, and Sam doesn't do anything, just looks at her and just goes, I know.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a week before.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you make of that when you were hearing it? Did it,
Well, she said, I'm not going to the wedding.
Well, she was a pretty strong person, man. If
She
she said she
was.
wasn't doing something, she wasn't doing something.
She said, I'm not going to the wedding, but I'm going to tell you, if you go to the wedding and you marry her,
You'll be cursed.
you'll be cursed.
wow.
So it was a week.
Yep.
And when you called her to tell her, she said, I'm not surprised. I knew you were calling me. Remember?
Yep.
I called your mom.
Did she ever have that in the past where she would get dreams and it would come to pass? 'Cause my mother had that gift. She would
Yeah,
dream
she had
something and it would happen.
she was very gifted. I really believe she was gifted. Your mom.
Yeah.
She was very gifted like that.
Wow.
Our families were both,
Yeah.
they were both gifted in that
Well,
area.
they were two special
Yeah,
families that somehow found each other
Yeah.
in this life.
It was
Yeah.
God ordained, I believe.
yes.
And I'm sure Sam had that close relationship with God that, God probably put a peace on him as that was happening. There had to be some kind of peace on him.
Oh, he was peaceful.
Yeah. Wow. So I know you said it the last time I interviewed you, but I still saw people put in the comments, oh no, it was Carl that was holding him. Can you just clear that up, please?
Please.
I know you're probably tired of saying it, but if you could just take us back to that day.
I'll be happy to. I'd probably need to give you a backstory. Carl and I weren't that crazy about each other. And he was only on that trip. They were not friends when he went on that trip. The only reason he was even on that trip is that he had called me and said, ask Sam if I can go play Laughlin because I'm out of money. And so I said, okay, dude, but I'm not in it. I'll tell him and then I'll let you know what he wants to do. Well, I called Sam and said, Carl just called me. Well, he'd been looking for Carl because he's going to whip him. And so he goes, what do you want? Said he wants to do this weekend with you at Laughlin. Said he's out of money. And so Sam was telling me what all he could do to himself and everything. And so I said, okay, I'll tell him. So he hangs up and I'll call Carl back later. Well, Sam calls me back and said, change my mind, let him come. But we don't see each other. We're not on stage together. We don't talk. If I go in a restaurant, he gets up and leaves. And so I said, all right. So I called Carl. And he said, all right. And so he was in the van with me and the security. And the accident happens, and Sam is laying out there on the highway. And the truth of the matter is, none of us were holding him because he was going to get out of the car. He kept scooting, and he weighed 280 pounds. And he kept scooting to get out of the car. He was going to get out of the car. But I was worried about whatever injuries he would have, like in his neck or whatever, because we didn't know, and he didn't look like he was dying. And so we laid him, right there at the door on the highway. And so I got his phone out of his car. I'm trying to, call, see if we can get any help out there. I wasn't getting any service. And so Carl was not holding him.
Him and Majid were walking.
Yeah, they were probably, him and the security guy were, they're probably 20, 30 feet away. And so I'm listening to Howard Stern, or I might even have been on the next morning or two. And Carl comes on. And all of a sudden, Carl's talking about, he was holding Sam, and Sam kept going, you know, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And that part was true because I was there. I was there like 5 feet away. And
Were you the only one that
Well-
heard, Bill, were you the only one that heard him talking to someone?
oh, there was other people around there.
Other people heard too?
Yeah, it just wasn't Carl. You know, like I said, he was, I don't know, 30 feet away,
Right.
walking down the highway.
When I got to the car, Sam's body was laying across the middle. And that's when I noticed that just the steering column was there. He had taken out the steering wheel with his chest and he had hit into the windshield. So he had a little blood on his forehead, a little blood out of his nose, and he was just taking deep breaths. And I said, "Don't move, buddy, don't move." And then he forced himself out of the car and landed on me, and I fell to protect him. And I was on my butt, and he was laid across my arms, and he was looking up, and he started talking to whoever was there that he saw, and he was going, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die now." And I said, "You're not going to die, man. I got you."
And so after show was over, I think it was the next day or it might have been that day, I called Carl and go, "Carl, where the hell did you get? You weren't there. I was the one there." And he goes, "Well, we have different memories, man." And I said, "Well, I know what my memories were, but I'm not gonna bust your balls in front of everybody. But you know this isn't right, man. I'll cover you. But it's, why lie?" And so then, as we went along, Carl and I got farther apart. And then he, all of a sudden I was, I had conspired to keep Angelica quiet, me and her mother, which we hadn't talked to each other in 25 years. And everything else, which was a joke. It was a joke. And so the last time I seen him, I said, "Dude," because he had come up to me, I had to do a wedding renewal in Vegas, and he was there. He also knew him. And afterwards he came up and he goes, "Hey man, I want to talk to you." And I said, "I don't want to talk to you." And he goes, "I just wanted to tell you, man, I'm in a good place now. And I've got my stuff together. And I just want bygones to be bygones." And so I told him, I said, "Carl, I don't know how many times I've let bygones be bygones. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested anymore in you. You don't live in my world. I'm not interested. I got enough stuff in my life to have to worry about you on top of it. So no." So that's the true story of what was what transpired out there.
Yeah.
And I apologize to everyone for backing Carl up, but at the time, I thought, if that helps him sleep at night, whatever. Because him and Sam, when Sam died, him and Sam were not anywhere close to friends.
Yeah.
That bridge had burned.
Well, was he like bad mouthing the two of you? I think that's what I heard.
Oh yeah. Sam.
It's terrible.
Running his mouth about Sam. And I'm thinking, you wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for Sam.
Yep.
And then what really got me was, and I'm not going to mention any names, but he's dying, and all these comedians are posting, the wrong one made it. Carl had more talent than Sam ever did. And I told her, I said, if I ever run into some of these guys, I'm going to go, since Carl was so talented, how come you didn't open him? How come you didn't have one open for you?
Yeah.
Since you're that crazy, how come he never did anything? Couldn't even play a headline a club without changing his name. And so, that is what it is.
Well, he probably never gave them a reason to be envious. I mean, Sam was at the top of his game. He honestly, in my opinion, was one of the best comedians ever. And I'm sure there were a lot of comedians that were very jealous of him.
Well, I'm his brother, and I'll tell you, he's in the top 5.
He was great.
He's in the top
Really
5.
was. He really was.
And
It was real life stories. That's why he was so funny, because it was true. I mean, he's the first comedian, I think, that just spoke the truth on stage and talked about his whatever
Yes.
Whoever he went to bed with the night before we knew about.
Yes.
Yes, I mean.
Yeah,
it
if they
was-
were any good, if they were bad, whatever.
Yeah.
We all had the story.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I love the one where he says he's gonna go away for the weekend with his friends, and the wife's like, okay, I think I'll just take that.
I'll
And
take that.
you know,
Well, there's one good thing about marriage. I don't want to put the whole institution down. There's one good thing about marriage. Best thing about marriage is that these are connected. They don't come on. Because if they did, your wife would take it as soon as you got married. She'd go, you're married now. You won't be needing that. I'll just take care of that for you, okay? Now, if you want this, it'll be in my purse or in the refrigerator. What? You're going out of town with your friends? You can just leave that here. Oh, it's true. You'd see all these guys on the phone going, hello, guys. Yeah, listen, I got to cancel out. I can't make it. No, I'm not going to be able to go. She's got my dick! No, she won't give it to me. I talked to her all day. Yeah, she got the spare, too. Well, she's upset. I tried to sneak out of the house with this morning, and I was halfway out the driveway. She come running out of the house, and I had to give it to her right there in the street. Okay, I'll ask her. Hold on. Honey, it's the guys. No, they just called to say that they're all taking theirs. Well, no, I just gonna take mine because I didn't want to stand out. You know, everybody's taking theirs. Okay. She said no fucking way. Yeah, she said no way the dick stays here. Yeah. Do me a favor, if you guys see me working on the yard and stuff around the house next week, you do me a favor? Do you love me? You do me a favor? Kill me. Strangle me, shoot me, run me over. Whatever it takes, I'm in hell!
You know, I thought his Jesus stuff was the funniest stuff he had.
it was funny.
I really did.
Jesus had a tough life, boy. I read about that guy. Jesus is the only guy that ever came back from the dead that didn't scare the fuck out of everybody, man. He's the only guy that ever crawled out of a grave where people didn't go, oh, oh! Oh, I just saw some fucker crawl out of his grave! I don't believe I'm seeing this shit! Did you see that? This guy just crawled out of his box through the earth! People are losing and going, oh, 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 the dead live, the dead live. Oh, get a stake, put a stake in his ass. Cut off his head, kill him again. Jesus comes back, he doesn't get any pressure, no static, nobody's upset. He climbs out, he's walking around, nobody's upset. They can eat with him and everything, you know. It's like, isn't that guy dead? Yeah, but he's real stubborn, man. He won't accept it. Pass the butter. What are they staring at?
Richard Pryor said, I was scared to touch that Jesus stuff. But Sam did.
He did. Well, what else did he do? Didn't he put a crown on his head?
Oh, yeah, down in Houston.
Yes.
Well, he had broke a chair.
On the cross. He stood on the cross and he
Yes.
He had at the Houston Comedy Club, they're called the Annex. The whole front of it was a window. So you're watching a comedian up here, and if you get bored or whatever, you can turn around and just see what's going on. Because you just got plate glass windows.
Right.
Well, the artistic director down there, Steve Moore, didn't like Sam. And so he kept hassling him, and then Sam broke a chair on stage. Well, so they suspended Sam for, I think, a week.
Yeah, something like
that, a week or two. Well, Sam, he goes across the street. They have a convenience store. And he has his friends that help tie him up to this sign out front, like he's being crucified. And the police and everybody comes, And and he's telling they're crucifying me, man. It's those the comedy club across the street. And then, but when he came back, he rented a limo, and they were standing outside to see him. That was Sam, though. He was unpredictable.
Yeah.
Well, he created a lot of his own, he had his own attention. He wanted to get that attention, and he did.
Yeah.
I think Sam just had fun.
He did.
He really, I think for him, I was a great manager. Because I would have I got more done than any other manager ever would have, because I was his brother.
Yeah, he was fortunate.
What's he going to do? Fire me?
Yeah.
I told him he told me one time, said, man, I'll fire you. I said, you know what? Your biggest worry is I'll fire you. And then what are you going to do? And, but the three of us were extremely close. I mean,
very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories. And, we have that hope that one day we're all going to be reunited with our loved ones, and you'll be hanging out with him again.
Yeah.
Well, because of her now, I'll never do an interview by myself ever again.
Oh, yes, well.
Everybody's going to go. I saw Sherry on her
Yeah.
podcast.
We went on ours.
I have a lot of books I could have written, but you know what? I didn't.
On one of your posts, I thought somebody referred to you as Maggie. Is that how you go, or what do people call you? I call you Denise, but
no, I'm not Maggie. My maiden name is Migliori, but no, definitely not Maggie.
Okay,
that's a good Italian name, huh?
Migliori. Yeah, it actually means better or the best.
Okay.
I enjoy your posts. I don't read many people's posts because I've got 5,000 followers, but
right.
I really enjoy your posts.
I love that it says, "Oh, Bill Kinison liked." I was like, "Oh,
yes.
That's so nice." And then I'm like, "Why am I not friends with Sherry?" So I
don't know.
Then I added you.
You'll have to somehow. You have to send me a friend request.
Oh no, I did. You accepted.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't accept. I get so many, and I don't know. And I tell Bill, you got to be careful who you accept. And so I think I asked him. I said, "Isn't that?" And he said, "Yes, it is."
Let me see. I know I sent it. Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
We're friends. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah. Bill told me. He said, "You got to accept her." I said, "Okay."
You guys.
But she didn't know who you were, and I said, Sherry, you're gonna love her. She's a great gal.
Aww.
I didn't know she was gonna be on the interview with me though.
I didn't. I didn't plan on it.
Yeah, no, because when we talked last time, I heard that you were in the room and you were adding some, things that Bill was trying to remember. I was like, oh, I'd love to get her on. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I said, you want to know the truth about anything? Ask me. I'll tell you.
There you go.
But she probably does more interviews than I do. She's on the national board of the Farrah Fawcett Cancer
Not anymore.
Foundation.
I'm an angel.
Oh, you're
so. Have you already quit?
No, I'm an angel on the Farrah Fawcett.
All right.
The Pink Journey Board.
And then she's on the National Pink Journey Board
for the breast cancer.
And the calls and the interviews and Zooms and stuff they do. She's on here a lot more than I am.
So you're a survivor. God bless you.
It's a journey. And I do work with, I try to help whoever I can help. I've learned more about breast cancer and anal cancer than I ever wanted to know.
Yeah.
But because Farrah died of anal cancer, and Alana Stewart does a great job.
Yeah, she does.
She's brought, such awareness to anal cancer, because she was Farrah's best friend. So anyway.
Do you know country singer Kelly Lang? Because Kelly Lang also is a survivor, and she was best friends with Olivia Newton-John.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I love it that she gave us a little glimpse into Olivia, that why are we laughing?
Yes.
The only reason I'm laughing.
Tell me.
We were at the American Music Awards.
Okay.
And
was it that or the Grammys?
No, it was American Music Awards. Sam was a presenter, and Paul McCartney and them was there.
Oh yeah.
And anyhow, so afterwards they had these tables, and you said it. whatever number table. Well, in our table, they had Olivia Newton-John sitting next to Sam and then somebody else. I forget who else was there. Anyway, he's trying to hit on Olivia Newton-John. Now she's still looking for her boyfriend.
Oh, I remember
that
that.
disappeared?
Went missing.
Back
yes.
then she was still looking for him. But Sam's really trying to work it, man. He's like, hey.
Yeah.
So our business manager comes up to me and goes, Bill, would you like to meet Michael Bolton? Well, he walked away with like 5 awards that night. And so I said, sure. So went over to his table and Michael was great. And then Michael goes, Bill, I would love to meet Sam. And so I said, okay, well, we're at table 71 or whatever it was. When you get a chance, come on over and I'll introduce the two of you. So he said, all right, well, he does. And Sam's still working on Olivia, and he's got his arm up here and he's talking to her.
He had a one-track mind.
And so here comes Michael over to the table. So I go, Michael, I said, Sam, I want to introduce Michael Bolton to you. And Michael, this is Sam. Now here's Sam still sitting here like this. And he goes, hey, man, yeah, good to meet you. Good to meet you. Yeah, and so Michael, I know, like, okay, he just blows him off. And he goes back to wherever he went. And I'm going, you're an idiot. He goes, what, man? You want me to meet her? I met him. I go, he could buy and sell you right now. He's like, I don't care. I go, well, the next time you want me to introduce you to somebody, I hope they don't do to you what you just did to Michael Bolton. But then when you said Olivia Newton-John, that's all I could think of.
That's funny.
Trying to hit on.
That's great.
Fantasies, when he was a kid, he loved Olivia Newton.
Aw.
Oh God, he brought that same night. He brought from Hart. What's her name?
Oh,
is that Ann Wilson?
Yeah, Ann Wilson from Hart.
Oh, that was his date? Oh, he had a date and he
No.
Oh no. Oh, is there when it's
That was
friends?
another.
Well, now at these award shows, they shut down Pasadena completely, downtown Pasadena. It's totally, and each studio has like these big tents. And so you go from one tent to another for entertainment or whatever. And I'm talking to a couple agents, and Sam comes up with this gal that's just on this side of a coma. And she is huge. Did you see her back when she was like that?
Yes.
She was huge.
Yes.
And I love her. I mean, I'm just telling the story.
I know. Yeah.
And so Sam comes up to me and she's out of it. He's well on his way. And he's like, hey, brother, who'd I always tell you I always wanted to meet? I don't know. He says that to everybody he meets. And I'm going.
We have a picture of him and her together.
I don't know. And he goes, Ann Wilson from Hart, dude. And I said, well, I'm glad to meet you. And she's literally, I'm serious. She's like, yeah.
But they look good in their picture together.
That wasn't that night.
No, I know.
Oh, it was a different night because I think I saw a picture with them.
Yeah.
So he was a handful.
Was he more excited about meeting celebrities than you?
Oh yeah.
He was.
He would get mad at me.
Yeah.
And he always would say, come on, Sherry, you're not afraid to ask to take pictures. Come on, take pictures. I mean, I say, Sam, you're a celebrity. They want to take pictures with you. It's why would you be afraid to ask?
Photographer around with him.
So a lot of the
plastic.
pictures I have taken, I took down through the years, just,
Yeah.
of course we have to get them developed back then.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember those
I
days.
hope he took a good picture.
Yeah.
Then we ended up with disposable cameras. Remember those?
Yeah.
I never really ever used them.
No. I found one in the drawer. I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Did you
Better
see what
take
was
it
in
and
it?
See what's in it. You never
No.
know.
But who even does that? They still have film labs that you can bring it to?
There's still, you can still, there's a couple people that you go
Yeah.
to. I found one here in San Antonio that has put a couple of our videos on DVDs for me,
Yeah.
but it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. No,
There's
definitely.
nothing cheap anymore.
I know.
Period.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir on that one. We need a change of administration in the White House.
Something.
Something's
Yes,
got
we
to
do.
change.
I'm not ashamed to say it.
Good.
I got to tell you, Sam was a liberal, but he wouldn't have been today.
Yeah, well, they're a little bit too radical.
Yeah.
They're not, the same party that we grew up with.
No, it's not.
No.
Actually, if you look back, Reagan would have been a great Democrat, and Kennedy would have been a great Republican. That's how much the parties have changed.
Yeah.
It really
That's
is.
the truth.
And it's not for the better.
That's the truth. Let me tell you what's happening in my neighborhood. I'm on Staten Island, and we had three blocks away, we have a senior citizen living residence.
Yeah.
And these people have been living there for a while, and we have people in their 90s, veterans, just, this is their home, and it's a beautiful, beautiful building. So what they did was the owner decides he's going to kick everybody out. He kicks them out under the guise of saying, I'm selling the building, and the people that buy it might not want to have it as a senior residence. So everyone has to get out. Well, what we found out was he was in cahoots with the mayor to make it a migrant shelter. So kicked all these people out of their homes. And let me tell you, depression, do you think like a 93-year-old person can't get depressed? These people are depressed. They're crying all the time. They got kicked out of their homes. They ended up in nursing homes. Some of them still don't have a place to stay from, home to home. It's terrible.
That is horrible.
And now we got all these illegals over here. They gave them scooters. No license
They gave them
plate.
scooters?
They got scooters. They were all around the island with scooters, no license plate.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
the cops are called, and the National Guard is protecting them. They got fences all around the building protecting them from us.
Oh.
I
So
mean,
these 90-year-old people they kicked out, huh?
yeah. In fact, it went international. The news went international. It started local and now went international. This man, I think his name is Frank. He 93 years old, a veteran, crying because he's staying with his daughter. He got kicked out. They have no money. It's terrible. They have a GoFundMe account for him. I mean, it's just a horrible thing. And it's one story after another of all these people that were displaced.
It is. It's awful. And the immigrants have, for some reason, they get everything that we don't. But
No. You tell me what
Not
country
fair.
that we could go to where we get everything free. Get put
Yeah.
up at a nice 5-star hotel, cell phones. They get money, they get a check every month.
They get free medical, they get free
yeah, well, the hospital,
school.
it's all free.
Yep.
So anyway, I don't know. Oh, it's scary.
So I have to ask you now before we close, what is the secret to a happy marriage? I mean, you guys have been together.
Oh
Your
boy.
kids.
I don't know.
Your
Believe me,
kids.
you got to have fun regardless of what you go through. But believe me, it's not all. I mean, we've been through it. We've been through it all. So
Be
I don't
committed.
know.
That's it.
Because not every day is going to be great.
Yep. You
That's right.
just
And then I felt like when I married her that I shot way over my head and got lucky.
yeah.
And I really do feel that way.
I
I
think
never would have been the person I am without her.
preachers' kids, you feel very ostracized as it is. And I think that's what made us, the Kinisons and McFaddens, so close because, that's all we knew. And, I didn't have a lot of friends at school, and I don't know I know Sam didn't, but,
Well, you had to go to
You-
school to get friends.
yeah. But, I didn't have a lot of friends because their parents would say, no, you're not going to be friends with her because her dad's a minister.
Well, no, go ahead and say it.
And because most of our church was black, 75% was black. And, they just didn't like that back then. 1959, you weren't
Yeah.
integrated.
It was real. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's how it was. Yeah.
I think that brought us together a lot closer than, we shared we have a whole life of the ministry that, we really did not tell people about until he did his one-man show, and it, but we haven't changed. We're still the same people, even though, sometimes I have to have these pinch me moments. I mean, it's always been, the night Sam was on Johnny Carson, we were backstage, and when he came up, I mean, really, he was like, that was a pinch me moment for him. He always wanted to be on Johnny Carson, and he felt like he made it. So,
well, he wanted to be invited
yes,
to the couch. That was the big thing with Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
He invited you over to the couch.
That was huge. How did that come about?
Back in those days, they said if you appeared on Johnny Carson, that was 2 years of bookings for a comedian.
Wow. And so how did he end up on Johnny Carson? Did Johnny Carson hear him singing?
No,
No?
He had
he came over to our table at the Palm.
well, no, we went
Wasn't
actually
it?
over to his, he
Oh,
called us
yeah.
over to his table.
Right.
He was by himself. And so he motioned for us to come over to his table, and we sat down, and he said, why are you not playing my show? I see you on Letterman, I see all these other things. Why won't you come and do my show? And so Sam looks at me, like, yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Why haven't we played his show? And so I told him, I said, hey, you're artistic director. I've had him come several times, and he don't think Sam can play your show. And so Johnny said, well, this was a Friday night, I think. He said, call Monday. They'll have dates for you. And so I did, and they did, and
Yep.
but it's a real picture. I want to give her a real picture of Sam. If you want a real picture of Sam, we land this. He calls me night or two before, and him and my brother Kevin and Carl used to walk down from the apartments where they lived to almost every day to the Tonight Show. Well, you had to go, like the first time you go is like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you get a ticket. Then you come back at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you give them that ticket, and then you'll get another ticket. And then that's the tickets that'll get you in. Then you come back that afternoon, you got your ticket, you get in line. Well, Sam had done that several times, so he called me and said, hey, do you know how to get a hold of any of these trucks, these food trucks? And I said, yeah, we can get a hold of them. Why? He said, I want to pay for everybody's breakfast that comes there and everything. So we did. We set it up, and now it's got to be about probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going over to
it's where they film
to do the show and everything. And we're in a limo, and Sam has the limo driver pull over to the sidewalk where all these people are lined up.
Mm-hmm.
He gets out of the limo, shakes hands with every single person in that line, telling them, I used to stand right here in this line. And, you never know when your time is going to come.
He truly never forgot where he came from.
So now we do the show. Well, Johnny comes out. He don't know any of this has happened. And Johnny comes out and does his monologue. And then he says, and for a guest tonight, I found out that he can really sing good. Sam Kinison. Well, the place just goes
crazy,
goes nuts. And I remember Johnny going, well, I guess you've heard of him. Not knowing Sam had already shook hands with every single person.
Wow.
In that audience.
The first time I saw Sam Kinison perform, somebody brought a tape into my office. I laughed so hard, I was hysterical, because it was absolutely outrageous. But Sam, believe it or not, has undergone a transformation, because somebody brought a tape in the other day and said, I want you to hear this. And I didn't know who was singing for a moment, because it was that good. He's a fine singer. And Sam's going to, yeah, that's true. And there's a ventriloquist up in the audience there. And he's going to be performing this weekend at Bally's in Las Vegas. He's got a new single coming out. Would you welcome, please, Sam Kinison.
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I call back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? You know, I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. I wonder a lot of things. Like, are you human? How do you live with yourself? Are you a reptile with a nice hairdo? You sneaky tramp! You lied to me! When you told me you loved me, you never loved me! You said forever, remember that one? Oh, there's a joke, forever! Yeah, forever, honey! Yeah, what does forever mean to you? Till another guy comes in your life with more money and a better car? Oh, I'm sorry, we better break up! I'm not growing as a person. We need to get away from each other. Oh, that was a great idea. Yeah, let's break up, honey. Did you grow any? Are you any taller? I'll tell you what you learned. You learned how to break my heart. But I'd rather go on hearing your lies than to go on live without you. That's how sick I am. Well, I'm standing here. The stage is bare. Oh, I can't say it. You know what you did. You know what you did. You were wrong. Say it, you stupid, stubborn pig. I was wrong. Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I call back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? I hope you die.
Yep, but that was the real sound.
Dreams do come true. You know, he'd
Yeah.
stand in that line, and he had that vision in his mind that he would be on that show.
Yeah.
So
And that was gold because nobody expected.
gold.
We thought he
Oh.
was going to sing the whole song out and just sing the song and then go sit down and get interviewed. That was the
Well,
best.
even the backstory is funny because now
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
is mad at this artistic director. And so what he decides to do is try to run the bill up as much as he can. So you have 4 comedians that are backup singing for Sam. But in reality, you had a country backup behind the curtain that was doing the singing and playing the music. So those guys on there, but they had to pay all of them.
They were lip syncing.
And Sam just did it, just had those guys there so that they had to pay them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they were lip syncing?
Yeah.
The best.
The old lady who owns, she's not living any longer, but she owned that song and she was not happy.
Oh, is that a fact?
Well, we were actually recording it with Warner Brothers to do a video because we were hot off a Wild Thing, and so we thought this would be great. So we're in there recording. They're probably into it 50,000, and I asked David Berman, president of Warner Brothers. I said, David, you did get a clearance on this, didn't you? And he said, well, isn't this public domain? I said, I don't think so. And he goes, why? I said, you better have somebody. It's an old lady. She's about 90 years old. She sued Walt Disney for using Are You Lonesome Tonight?
Oh,
and she
boy.
still owns it.
Yep.
And so obviously the only recording you have and I have is on Johnny Carson.
He could never do it again.
We was never able to do it.
Right.
Well, he used to sing that to my mother after
Really?
my mom and dad got a divorce. he used to sit down with an old mom and sing that to her. Are
Yeah.
you lonesome tonight?
Oh,
And so it had a special meaning to him.
yeah.
See,
And he
that's a
sang-
backstory. Nobody knows.
What's that?
I said, that's a backstory. no
I
one
know.
knows.
These are amazing stories. I mean, you guys are such a blessing because you're keeping his memory alive. I love it. I mean, and this new generation will get to know who Sam was also.
Hopefully
That's
they
why
will.
I thank God for YouTube for those videos, right?
Yes. And most of I think the ones that on YouTube are clean. They're his
No, they can
clean.
be whatever,
Are they?
but people expect that from Sam. It's like he used to say, they expect me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And who's Screaming Sam? Is that like an impersonator?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Screaming Sam.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When we
this
first met him.
was a guy that lives in Florida.
No, he doesn't now.
No, he did live in Florida,
Hmm.
and he will not fly. He gets in his car, pulls his motorcycle because he heard that I had a motorcycle. Pulls his motorcycle out to California, calls me, and said, I came all the way from Florida and I'd like to meet you. And so I said, well, dude, I'm not really into impersonators. And so I'm sorry you came all the way out here and everything, but he kept talking to me. So I said, you know what? I'll go and I'll meet you somewhere for dinner.
And he came to the theater first, didn't he?
No, I think that was next day.
Oh, I thought he came to the theater.
Yeah. And so we met in an Olive Garden. I walked in, and back then he looked identical to Sam. I never would have, I wouldn't even have known the difference.
Really?
I never seen anything like that. And we hit it off so much at dinner. I brought him home and he stayed with us for a week.
And you've
Yeah,
been
he's a good
friends ever
guy.
since.
John's a good guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And we've been friends ever since. We went up to Sturgis a couple times and
who's the other guy that McLaughlin?
Jeff McLaughlin.
Jeff McLaughlin. He does Sam.
Yeah, he
does too.
Sam impersonator.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy too.
Yeah.
He lives
So-
up in
Do
Michigan.
they perform? They perform like at comedy clubs or anything like that? Or
I don't think John does.
No, I don't know. I think
And
Jeff does.
Jeff
he
has
does
a band.
music. Yeah, he
He has a
does.
band.
He does Wild Thing. He does the band.
okay.
And he does some other stuff of
Yeah,
Sam's, but
I don't think he does.
he has a
comedy.
band, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard to do his comedy.
Yeah. No. The one and only. Definitely not. Well, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for taking out the time and sharing your wonderful memories. I feel like I know you so well. I feel like we're family.
I know. Come and see us.
I would love to. My daughter lived in Austin for a while and she loved it.
Really? Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, if we're getting pushed out of New York, we're gonna have to find someplace else to go.
That's true. Well,
Well, we left California because of that, not counting our grandchildren, but the political atmosphere. I just had enough.
Yeah.
You take your state income tax and your federal income tax in California, and that's 51% of your money, over half of just those two taxes.
Yeah,
We're not talking about all the others, just those two taxes. And so she was one that kind of surprised me because I told her, I said, I'm moving to San Antonio with the kids. And then COVID hit and she said, you know what? If we're going to be quarantined, we might as well be quarantined.
Well, we had a gentleman had come in off the street really to buy the theater, and we sold it before COVID hit.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we couldn't have done that. It was
the
just
angels were watching out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like a little push, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Open door. And you look like you're very happy there.
We are. We get to be with our daughter and then our grandkids. I mean, that's all we've got left. So
yeah,
it is great.
That's what it's all about, family.
We do miss our friends. I mean, we lived there 36 years, so we have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And then we had the theater 33 years. So yes, we built a village, but
yeah, Well, that's
Well-
what's so great about, we can make video calls,
Zoom, yes, yes. we
Zoom,
can
you
do
got
it.
Zoom, you got Facebook and all that. So it's almost like you're in the same room. So it's
Yeah.
great. Aw. Well,
Well, I
guys,
love
thank
you, but I've got to change the cartridge on my
Okay, yes. Thank you.
pump.
Mr. Pump.
Listen, have a very Merry Christmas and a very
You
Happy New Year.
too.
Thank you. Love you guys so much.
Love
God
you
bless
too.
You and your
He'll be
family.
another year older. January 1st is his birthday.
Oh yeah. Oh
birthday.
yeah.
Oh, happy
I'll be
pre-birthday.
39 again.
Ah, I love it.
I don't care about my age. I mean, I'll be 75. I don't care.
Oh
I
gosh,
feel good.
it's a
Still
number.
do what I want to do.
Absolutely. It's just a number, really.
Yeah, it really is.
You
It
just-
really is.
You live until you can't live anymore. That's what my mom would say. I'm going to use these little legs until I can't go anymore. And she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. All right, babe.
All right.
Y'all can
All
go
right.
ahead. I'm
Love
gonna have
you.
to.
Talk
Love
to
you.
soon.
God bless you.
Merry
And tell everybody, go to your Facebook page, Bill Kinison, and watch you on Sunday.
When trouble's in my way, can't tell my night from day. When I'm tossed from side to side, like a ship on a raging tide.